"You're too old to join us on our California trip. Just stay home and watch the house," my daughter said, brushing me off like I was no longer useful. They jetted off to a luxurious getaway with my in-laws, who were older than I was, leaving me behind in the home they viewed as their future windfall. When they came back, the house had vanished, and so had I. They rang my phone 50 times. Before we go on, please subscribe to the channel and share where you're tuning in from in the comments. Brochures of Malibu beaches sat on my coffee table like vibrant temptations. My daughter Emily spread them out, her polished nails gliding over the sandy shores, while her husband Michael peered over her shoulder, agreeing eagerly. Michael's parents, Robert and Susan Hayes, lounged on my sofa, already chatting about flight times and resort perks as if the vacation was their entitlement. "The Malibu resort seems ideal," Emily declared, her excitement bubbling over. 5 bedrooms, oceanfront views, exclusive beach entry. I grabbed for a brochure. "That does sound great. When are we—" "Dad." Emily's hand blocked mine, softly but decisively, sliding the shiny page aside. "You're too old for trips like this." The statement struck like cold rain. I stared. Sure, I'd heard wrong. "Better remain here and guard the house," she added casually. "As a matter of fact, we're traveling with Michael's folks. It's their lifelong dream." "You see," Robert chuckled from the couch, "we've been saving up for ages, eager to catch those sunsets. The children will adore the surfing," Susan chimed in, claiming joys yet to unfold. I gazed at them. Robert was 67, 3 years my senior. Susan, 63. Yet I was deemed too aged, while they fit perfectly as companions. "I've never visited Malibu," I murmured. Michael shrugged. "Perhaps another time." "Pops. This one's more of a family affair." Family. The term twisted in my gut, I observed as they plodded around me, past me, ignoring me. Emily whipped out her phone. Displaying restaurant pics to Susan, Michael seized another brochure, highlighting excursions. They acted with the assurance of those who'd decided it all, without input from the man whose roof had covered them for 6 years. "The flight departs Thursday morning," Emily stated, avoiding my eyes. "We'll be away 12 days. You'll have the place all to yourself. Consider it your own little break." A break from what? From offering free shelter. From preparing meals they scarcely thanked me for. From hearing Michael's gripes about his finances while he charged his gadgets on my power. I rose gradually, my joints aching, a sign of my 65 years that Emily worried about so much. "I should prepare for house-sitting then. You're the greatest, Dad." Emily glanced up at last, flashing that smile which once warmed me when she was 8, begging for stories. Now it seemed rehearsed, deliberate. "No need to fret. Just unwind and savor the peace." Robert lifted his mug in a fake cheer. "To family getaways?" They all laughed. Even Susan, who'd encountered me just 5 times, felt bold enough to mock my omission in my own space. I headed to the hallway, their chatter trailing me, lively talks of coastal dinners and yacht tours, thrills I'd evidently outgrown suddenly. The wooden floor groaned beneath me, the same noise it made when Anna and I twirled there on our 35th anniversary. Anna would have defended me. She would have demanded my inclusion, making clear that family included everyone or no one. But Anna had passed 6 years ago, and I was realizing the daughter we'd nurtured saw me far differently than I'd thought. Behind me, Emily's words rang out. Mom would get it. She always mentioned Dad needs care as he ages. I halted at the bedroom door. Anna had never uttered such things. Not ever. But evidently, my late wife's fabricated worries now excused my ban from family bliss. Evening light poured through my bedroom window, stretching shadows over the wooden floor where Anna's reading spot once stood. 4 hours later, I perched on my bed's edge, still in dinner attire, my image reflected in Anna's former vanity mirror, a man who'd faded in his own dwelling. The house had quieted into night. Yet voices rose from downstairs. At first, their giggles felt remote, dulled by thick walls and ducts. I'd meant to dismiss them fully, perhaps dive into one of Anna's beloved thrillers. Then Michael's voice pierced the hush. Sharper than expected. Honestly, do you think he swallowed that too old baloney? My book shut. I stiffened, every fiber alert. Emily's reply drifted up via the vent by my feet. Dad's always been naive. Recall when we promised to repay him for the siding fix. Their laughs ensued, breezy, scornful, harsh. I edged toward the vent, my educator's senses activating. 40 years in classrooms had shown me when to eavesdrop and when to respond. This was eavesdropping time. The setup aligned flawlessly. Robert's tone joined. Right after California. We move him to that retirement community we checked. My breath hitched. Ah, retirement community. Golden years. Home has a spot next month, Susan noted, her manner efficient. They mentioned speeding papers if we cover the upfront fee. How much, Michael inquired. $4,000, Robert answered. But worth it to settle him fast. Once there, this house is ours regardless. It's our legacy. The ground seemed to sway under me. I clutched the window ledge, knuckles paling on the trim. Emily's voice rose, enthusiastic. I've already reached that realtor, Thomas Brooks. He figures we could fetch at least $900,000, perhaps higher, with current trends. Divided 4 ways, Michael asked. Naturally. Mom, Dad, you've deserved your portion for enduring his moans these past years. Susan giggled. He has grown quite needy. Hasn't he always probing our schedules, demanding inclusion? The audacity is staggering. Emily concurred, like, Dad, you're 65. Accept your prime is past. I slumped onto the bed, legs unsteady. 6 years I'd sheltered them. 6 years of food costs for 5. 20,000 at least. Utilities that tripled upon their entry. Another 7,000. The siding repair Emily cited tonight. 15,000 post-storm. Dr. Bills when coverage lapsed. Vehicle fixes for the car they claimed. Over 70,000 of folks who labeled me a drag. The equation was straightforward. Crushing. I'd sustained them longer than many unions endure, and their thanks had soured into presumption along the way. I strolled to my dresser, drawing out the slim ledger where I'd logged expenses since Anna's passing. Her idea, really. You'll want to track funds. Dear. Sheets upon sheets of Michael's pleas, Emily's demands, the kids' essentials, ever pressing, ever brief, ever with vows of payback when fortunes turned. Fortunes never turned. They'd just mastered asking more. The house sighed around me, easing into midnight stillness. Come morning, they'd rise invigorated, scheming their escape. They'd stuff bags I'd gifted for holidays, head to the airport in the vehicle I'd aided after their seizure scare, board with passes backed by the estate they'd prematurely seized. Meanwhile, I'd linger like a dutiful watcher, upholding the abode they deemed theirs by right. But as I lingered in shadows, amid plaques of my teaching honors and Anna's book club awards, resolve hardened in my core. They'd erred gravely. They'd mixed benevolence with frailty, liberality with folly. 40 years educating demanded tactics, endurance, and outpacing pupils who fancied beating the setup. Some teachings came via counsel, others via fallout. I shut the ledger and tucked it away. Motions precise and hushed. Morning would unveil fresh paths. Sunrise gleamed through kitchen shades as I stepped in. finding the clan abuzz with journey zeal. Emily manned the counter, sorting tickets and papers into tidy stacks. Michael bent over his device, likely verifying departures, as Robert and Susan debated lotion types like generals mapping assaults. "Morning." "Dad," Emily greeted brightly, eyes fixed on her document wall. "Coffee's hot if you'd like." I poured a mug, eyeing their lively expressions with renewed insight. Yesterday, I'd have seen thrilled kin readying for fun. Today, I spotted schemers reveling in their sly triumph. "Flight lifts at 10:40, Michael proclaimed, swiping his display. "We ought to leave by 8:45 to dodge jams." "Packed the charger for the camera," Susan quizzed Emily. "In the hand luggage, with spares." Their precision struck me. The same skills they'd shunned for job hunts or bill shares, evidently. Luxury plotting tapped distinct gifts from earning basics. "Anything particular for me to handle while watching?" I queried, claiming my table seat. Emily peeked up. "Look condescending. Just routine. Dad, tend plants, grab mail. Perhaps have Mary from adjacent check on you." Mary Johnson, my 72-year-old neighbor, who'd known Anna and me for 18 years. Emily proposed she monitor me like I was feeble, needing oversight. "I'm fully able to cope solo." I responded gently. Michael huffed. "Sure, Pops. Just avoid mending brakes. Hire pros." The hypocrisy hit hard. Michael, who'd squandered his home on bets, lecturing me on upkeep. I nursed my brew and bobbed agreeably. "Certainly. Wouldn't wish issues." My yielding pleased them. Robert stowed a Malibu guide in his pocket. 2 weeks of bliss. We've merited this. Merited via 6 years of gratis lodging. Feasts, and aid they'd never owned up to, much less repaid. Time flies. I promised. Might read up. Tidy spots here. Emily's gaze lit. Ideal. "Dad. Begin with the shed. It's so jammed. Jammed with their stuff, of course. Goods stored on arrival. Then ignored as my shed turned their depot." Susan shifted counter items to her bag. Tickets, IDs, coverage docs. The resort okayed our room boost. Seaside vista, private deck, butler aid. "Sounds splendid," I uttered, tallying such splendor's price. Readily 5,000 for 2 weeks. Funds they'd lacked, but now wielded. Michael's phone pinged. "Rides 5 out." The alert sparked flurry. Bags emerged. Final grabs. Order yielded to frenzy. I stepped aside, viewing their exit prep with cool curiosity. "Dad, certain you're fine alone?" Emily posed, though it rang as rote courtesy over true care. "Utterly. I'll relish the calm." She pecked my cheek, a move that once stirred my soul. Now it felt staged show for kin expecting filial warmth. Doors banged outside. Michael hauled cases as others scooped last bits. In 15 minutes, my home would reclaim the quiet I'd allegedly sought. "Care for yourself," Robert yelled, rolling his bag doorward. "Travel safe," I countered. "Sincere despite all." The entry shut firmly. Motor hums receded streetward, abruptly. I stood solo in my kitchen, ringed by ditched mugs and strewn guides, for the first since 6 years. The house was mine wholly anew. I approached my window, seeing their vehicle vanish at the bend, ferrying my thankless kin to their pilfered haven. 12 days, 84 hours to weigh choices, gauge assets, and maybe prove the drag they scorned held unsuspected strengths. I drained my brew slowly, plotting my advance meticulously. "Need transport to the airport," I suggested as Michael wrestled Emily's huge case. "Actually, yes." He gasped. "The ride canceled. Congestion on the freeway." "Perfect. One last act as their obliging driver. The trek to Los Angeles International spanned 50 minutes amid usual Monday rush. I tuned into their thrilled babble on surfing lessons and seaside suppers, amazed at their ease discussing opulence bankrolled by my lifelong nest egg. Snap pics of all, I urged at drop-off. I'd love Malibu via your lens. Emily embraced briefly. We'll mail cards, Dad. Avoid overwork while gone. Michael grasped hefty bags. Thanks for the lift, Pops. You're a savior. Savior. The offhand irony hit me. I lingered till they faded into the hub, then headed home with rising eagerness. By noon, I dialed the agent Emily had named in her spied chat. Brooks Realty, Thomas here, Mr. Brooks, John Miller calling. Must sell my place swiftly. Short silence. How swift? Mr. Miller, 10 days tops. Willing to price sharp for rapid deal. Ambitious aim. What's the rush I'd prepped this? Life shifts demand quick cash. No haste cuts value. I get it. Property whereabouts, Pasadena zone, detached residence. 3 beds, 3 baths. Clear lien. No loan. His interest perked. No loan aids fast closes. Rough size 2,500 square feet. Modern kitchen. Fresh roof 4 years back. Solid area. Mr. Miller. Available in 90 minutes. This pace is bold, but cash buyers make it feasible. 90 minutes. In that span, I'd launch the initial solid step to show how troublesome this elder could turn when spurred. Await you, I affirmed. Post-call. I toured my home anew. These spaces had seen Anna's joy, Emily's youth markers, genuine kinfates when I trusted family equaled shared faith and aid. Now they stood as sellable goods, equity to free, tools to reshape the control that ruled my existence 6 years. I fetched the deed from Anna's trinket case, plus tax logs and insurance papers. All Thomas needed to confirm hold and value. The bell chimed exactly 90 minutes on. Thomas Brooks looked younger than anticipated, around 48, in a gray jacket despite California warmth. He toted a device and tape, geared for prompt trade. Mr. Miller? He shook hands. Glad you reached out. From our talk, we can team well. Enter. I'll display all. He crossed my threshold, mentally appraising. Lovely abode. Authentic oak floors. Redone 4 years past. Anna, my departed spouse. Stressed keeping true charm. Wise lady. True traits boost worth big. He drew his device. Pre-tour. Let's outline your rush process. 10 days calls for cash, folks. Few clauses. Keen pricing. Ready for that? I nodded. Pace trumps peak gain. Great. Show what we got. As Thomas assessed expertly, sizing areas and noting build perks. A shift stirred in me. After years yielding to others' calls, I was seizing reins at last. Emily had cited Thomas while plotting my home's sale. Sans me. Now he served my aims. My schedule. The balance felt like fairness starting to even. 4 hours post Thomas's exit with his first review and vow to phone prospects pronto. My line rang. Unknown digits, but California code. Dad? Emily's tone sparkled with coastal glee. Landed fine. Resort stunning. I eased into my seat. Thomas's card evident on the surface by his file of home docs. Thrilled you got there safe. Flight how lengthy, but rewarding. Dad, this spot's unreal. Private shore, endless pool, wellness treats, full package. Michael's set a yacht sale for tomorrow. Amazing. I fingered Thomas's card edge while chatting. Hope tons of shots? Oh, yes, concierge tipped a top eatery tonight. Elite dining beachside. You'd likely deem it over fancy. But we're keen. Over fancy for me. Of course, sure you'll love it. Emily's pitch altered a tad. More parental. Managing solo, not attempting fancy cooks. Right, recall my tip on simplicity. Handling all superb, I vowed, gaze on the estate files across my board, quite occupied. Truth be, good. Avoid strain. We fretted ditching you lone, but Michael noted you must grasp self-reliance at your stage. Self-reliance. The term held sweet irony amid my day's deeds. On self-reliance. Emily went on. We've mulled something, prepping a small shock for return. It'll suit your later days better. Expert aid. Peer events your era. Such expert aid. The soft term they'd wielded for my ousting scheme. How kind. I held voice even. Oddly timely. I'm crafting a shock for you too. Oh, Emily chuckled. What shock could you scheme? Dad, if spilled, no shock. I permitted a tiny grin. Say I've managed vital affairs while absent. Truly vital that'll alter all for us. Affairs, Dad? You're rested. What affairs might you— She halted, likely catching her belittling vibe. Mean, that's nice. But skip tiring on whatever small task. Small task. If she knew, fret not. I said serene. I'm coping flawlessly. Fact. You'll be stunned by my feats on your return. Well, stay cautious. Okay, we'll ring in days to verify. I'll be present, I stated, though presence sense might shift by then. Post-hang, I rested in my kitchen hush, wrapped in midday quiet and dual deceits load. Emily geared to dump me in retirement. Sure, I'd miss their plot. Meantime, I geared to dump the home they saw as theirs. Sure, they'd never foresee bold moves from their alleged drag. Both plotting shocks. Both assured of edge. Sole one truly held command. I grasped Thomas's card and grinned. Tomorrow. Real labor starts. Tuesday morn delivered Thomas's ring at exactly 10, plus our debut buyer, Prospect. William Davis stood for a property fund seeking lease spots in settled zones. Pace is fierce, Thomas cautioned alone pre-Davis. Most need weeks for funds. This man does cash deals, but seeks major price bend. Cash deals. Ideal for my shrunk frame. Davis rolled up in a black SUV, clad in upscale relaxed wear, toting a fine folder. Late 50s. Firm grip. The honed speed hinting many buys. Nice locale, he remarked, eyeing my yard with sharp sight. Strong base on this place. Guide me through top cells. I toured room by room, stressing oak floors, fresh kitchen, new roof. Each trait I voiced felt like forsaking Anna's legacy. But I forged on with firm resolve. Main room boasts great daylight. I detailed. Parting shades Anna picked 16 years prior, true molding all through. Davis bobbed, jotting on his device, sell motive. The frame Thomas noted implies haste. I'd drilled this reply. Life needs prompt funds, set to price keen for swift end. How keen hinges on your pace skill. We wrapped the walk in 40 minutes. Davis scanned all with funders cool, figuring lease yield, redo outlays, future rise. His curiosity rang true. Queries practical, not sentimental. The asset holds solid basics, he rapped, clasping my hand at entry. Let me crunch with associates. Word by tomorrow eve. Post depart. I sensed guarded hope. Cashman, pro style. Real frame hopes. Maybe my scheme would flow smooth after all? Wednesday eve crushed that hope. Regret. Mr. Miller. Davis phoned. Post-crunch. Figures miss our fund marks at ask price. My gut sank. What hits Mark's truth? Roughly 70,000 less than ask. Lease seen there skips higher buy costs. 70,000? Near all I'd sunk in Emily's clan over 6 years? That's hefty. I coped. I know. Mullet. Offer holds 48 hours. Post-call, I sat kitchen-bound, eyeing Thomas's card. Worth 70,000 loss for payback, proving self-worth. Such cash? Hit. Doubt sneaked a bit. Emily stayed my child. Michael, flaws aside, dad to my grandkids. Perhaps overblow to stung feels and hurt ego? Then I recalled their giggles in that spied talk. The easy harshness of scheming my dump while dwelling my space, eating my grub, spending my coin. The retirement deposit they'd set. The agent they'd touched. They'd picked 6 years back. Seeing me as tap to drain over kin to treasure. Now they'd meet that pick's fallout. I snatched my line and rang Thomas. I take Davis's bid, I said straight. Mr. Miller, sure, that's big cut. Might snag better. Sure. How fast close with cash? Slim terms 9 days. Maybe shorter. 9 days. Ample pre-Emily's comeback. Draft forms. I sealed as I ended. Calm, chilled certainty settled, like fairness forming at last. They aimed to tag me drag. Fine. They'd learn how pricey that drag grew when driven right. The home they'd eyed to claim would vanish. The funds they'd tallied would slip to my hold, with my zeal to bank their comfy, jobless life. Some teachings, I mused, merited each cent spent. Thursday morn brought surprise affirm. Thomas rang with news making prior doubts silly. Mr. Miller. Stunning turns. Davis's fund wants to rush all. They bid extra $12,000 over our pact for assured 8-day close. I placed my mug careful. They offer more for quicker precisely. Seem they have fund rollout deadlines. Your asset fits Q3 goals spot on. Want close by next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. 4 days pre-Emily's return from California. My part light. As they skip checks and cash pay, mostly signs and title clear, their lawyer started forms. I paced to my window, viewing the yard where grandkids romped on gear I'd bought. Soon others young would frolic as parents leased to William Davis's firm, Mr. Miller. Okay with sped pace. Okay, I was thrilled. Fully. What to sign I'll fetch docs this eve. Davis's lawyer reviews tomorrow. Then close set for Tuesday. Post call. I rested in my silent abode, ringed by years gathered recalls, soon strangers. The irony struck. Davis's trade haste matched my payback frame perfect. Emily and clan likely lounged on some Malibu sand now, quaffing fruity sips, chatting my expert care plans. They doubtless felt smart on their shock retirement setup. Sure, I'd never guess their ruse. If they knew their supposed drag had bested them total. The line rang anew. Unknown digits. California code. Dad? Michael's voice now. Likely while Emily spawed. Holding strong. Splendidly, I replied true. Managing affairs, as vowed, glad, no mischief. Hope. He snickered at his quip. Nothing beyond me, I vowed. Paradise treating no gripes. Yacht yesterday was epic. Emily's massage now, she said hi. Pass hi. Hope you both cherish each tick. We do. Kids beach mat. Robert and Susan Mull trip extend if flight shift. Extend trip better for my frame. Sounds grand. No rush back for me. Sure hate leaving you lone long. I'm fine total. Really, coping beyond your guess. Post Michael hang. I grinned at fine balance. They so sure in schemes. Certain I'd stay their meek prey they mulled granting me extra span to finish my counter. By their California return. 10 days or 14. They'd find their assumed legacy gone. Their watcher turned far tougher than the drag they'd snubbed. I took Thomas's card and traced borders with digit. Tuesday couldn't haste enough. Friday morn, I launched my retirement's most gratifying task, ousting my thankless clan from the home they'd seized as legacy. Methodical. I began Emily's room. 6 years' hoard filled every spot. Pricey garb bought with my food funds, gems I'd given birthdays, shots of trips I'd backed but skipped, each piece boxed, labeled neat. Handling like the shift they never foresaw, I whispered, folding her fancy tops with care, like packing her college decades back. Michael's items spun their tale of flop and claim. Gaming rig thousands worth. Crypto tips and bet tomes. Tools borrowed unending. I boxed all orderly, including the system where he'd likely lost our kin's safe funds. The depot I'd picked lay 25 minutes off. Near for kin access, eventual. Distant for exile feel. Boss. Kind lady named Maria. Aided picking unit big for full home clan. Shifts overwhelm, she said. Seeing me ink lease. You seem super sorted. Had span to scheme. I said true. Load took most eve. Hired pros handled respectful, knowing kin goods merit gentle touch despite. Seeing box on box vanish to unit felt like fairness shaping real. Robert and Susan's bits needed extra mind. Meds, key papers, posh bags bought for this jaunt. I listed all, ensuring they'd find stuff sorted and ready when learning new dwell state. That's heaps, noted Luis. A mover. Tying last furniture. Clan of 5 was, I said plain. Last box held Emily's youth keeps, school wins, kin shots, craftworks I'd kept decades. My hands shook light as I said it in unit. These marked the girl I'd raised, not the lady who'd schemed my dump. Postlock. I gave Maria envelope with 8 months lease ahead. Folks will fetch all eventual, I said, likely quicker than thought. By dusk, I'd changed my home to bare I scarce knew. Clean, void spot primed for fresh holds, my own bits stayed. Educator certs on walls, Anna's shots on shelf, tomes that molded my mind 40 years. The flat I'd leased nearby was simple, yet enough. Single bed, small cook area, space for a man relearning lone life. As I set garb in tiny closet, I felt anew what I'd missed years. Full sway over my space, none would eat my grub sans share. None use my power while moaning my being. None scheme my tomorrow sans ask. My line rang as I unpacked educator wins. Caller showed California digits. Dad? Emily's tone relaxed. Likely from resort deck. Just verifying. Managing, I scanned my bare but calm flat. Then at keys, I'd soon yield to William Davis. Super well. I said honest full. All's right where due. Good here. We're having epic span. Concierge set private shore supper tonight. Cherish each bit, I urged. Craft recalls to endure life. As post-Tuesday, those recalls would be their sole left of comfy leech life. Post-call. I sat in new cook spot, sipping brew, musing the sleek fairness of it. They'd wished me gone from lives. Now they'd grasp what gone truly meant. Some teachings needed full dip to grasp right. They were set to turn prime pupils. Tuesday morn came with doom's weight. I sat in Notary Karen Lopez's space, ringed by forms that'd legally seal my payback. Opposite. William Davis scanned end papers with speed of habit by vet. All seems set, Karen said, lining deed shift docs in exact lines. Mr. Miller, need ID check once more. I passed my license. Seeing her match photo to face. 65. Rested math educator. Set to end life's most figured choice. Mr. Davis. Your firm's wired funds checked. She went on. Can move to close. Thomas sat close. Device ready. Pleased with his steer of tough frame. Deed shift first doc. Karen detailed. Pushing papers over. This shifts 123 Oak Lane from John Miller to Summit Property Group official, 123 Oak Lane, spot where Anna and I aimed to age joint, where Emily stepped first, where 3 gens recalls dwelled each space. Now to unknowns who'd turned to lease cash, I inked name steady. Asset reveal forms next, Karen continued. These affirm home state and known flaws. Known flaws. Did heart betray count as billed woe? Did years thankless shake base firm? I marked each sheet methodical. Fund settle page, William said. Sliding another. End by price less close fees and agent cuts. Numbers spun their tale. Buy price cut by $70,000 for quick assure. Agent costs, law outlays, title cover, and some still more cash than seen since Anna's policy 6 years back. Cash to bank my free, while Emily's clan learned ruthless feel. Your ink here binds sale legal. Karen pointed to end line. I paused brief. Pen above sheet. Once inked, no undo. Emily and Michael would return from California to see assumed legacy vapor. Comfy leech end forever. Pen met sheet. My script flowed in careful grade style, 40 years used. Congrats. William said, hand out. Summit Property glad to add this to holdings. We clasped. Rested educator and fund head-ending deal to wreck 4 now quaffing coastal sips in bliss. Fee payout, Thomas noted, taking his share from William. Thanks both for enabling. Karen gathered inked docs, stamping notary each. This ends close. Mr. Miller, 30 minutes to grab last personals. Then hold shifts to Summit. 30 minutes to bid adieu to home of joy, of drain, of final learn between kin and leeches. I drove to 123 Oak Lane last, using keys to hand in 20 minutes. Walking void spaces. I felt since Anna's end what missed. Full shut living area where Emily said my skip from California trip. Cook spot where I spied retirement schemes. Bed where I worked betray and picked fairness over prey. Each space now William Davis's firm. To lease to payers glad for dwell right. I took Anna's pick, from shelf and educator certs from walls, rest, furnishings, tools, fixtures, new holds per pact. An entry where I'd welcomed Emily's clan 6 years back. I sensed change load. Kind widower who'd given haven had grown far slyer. The drag they'd aimed to dump had dumped them back. My device buzzed with text from unknown California digits. Dad. Amazing time. Michael suggested extend trip week more. Hope extra loan fine. Love. Emily. Extra week. They granted me more span to taste win. I locked door final and gave keys to William. Waiting drive with Thomas. Hold shift done, I said. As I drove from 123 Oak Lane, I glimpsed William in mirror, already phoning lease prep. 3 days till Emily's clan returned to learn they'd been bested by the drag they'd lowballed. Reveal countdown official start, 10 days post my clan's California leave. I sat in a seaside hotel in Malibu, sipping brew and awaiting Mary Johnson's ring. The irony hit. I savored the coastal break they'd barred me, backed by sale of home they'd seen as legacy. My line rang exact, 5 p.m. local. John. Mary's voice shook thrill. They're here. I set mug, watching waves crash beyond window. How'd they take news, oh dear? You should have seen Emily's look when grasping strangers dwelt your home. She insisted error. They owned... I grinned, picturing Emily's claim pride crash on law fact. What new holds say pro full, showed deed, said by legal. Emily tried shove past to enter. Image of my girl's frantic reclaim of never hers filled me content. And Michael raged, yelled lawyers and suits till new holds warned cops. Susan wept. Robert kept asking your where. Gave them depot info. As you said, passed Emily address. Said belongings safe. She crushed paper fist and demanded your spot. I leaned in hotel seat, eyeing a yacht sail horizon. What'd you say? Exact your words. You'd left after sale. They could reach direct if discuss need. Tried ringing endless. Emily's dialed every 15 minutes past hour. Michael's left vivid messages. I eyed my device, noting 50 missed rings and rising. Guess they're driven to contact now. John. Must ask. Really in Malibu, the elite Malibu resort. Same they stayed, sans me. I paused. Letting sink. Mary. You've aided huge. Hope you grasp why needed, after seeing them treat you as personal bank 6 years. Truth. Impressed. Anna would proud how you stood. Anna would value the math exact of my payback. Equal opposite to years' drain. What they do now, last view. Loading cases to cab. Guess hotel bound. No elsewhere. Emily looked wrecked, wrecked same term for my feels on spying retirement plans. Fairness held lovely balance. Mary, if they beg you ring me, say I'm savoring break. Contact when set. How long wait them long for true grasp of family discard feel. Post-hang. I stepped to hotel deck. Inhaling coastal breeze they'd thought me too aged for. Below, visitors beached they'd deemed I couldn't manage. Yacht tours Michael cited sailed past, bearing folks on thrills I'd supposedly passed. My device buzzed another ring from Emily. I let chime, then from Michael, skipped Susan text. John, please ring. Need talk. I wiped San's reply. 6 years. They'd ruled my life via heart pull and cash really. They'd schemed my tomorrow sans input, assumed my yield sans okay, treated my give as their due. Now I ruled engage terms. They could linger till I deemed they'd gained humility enough for my ear. I ordered service and settled for sunset they'd aimed to bar me. Device still buzzing with rising frantic rings from the clan who'd learned at last the real price of granting someone assumed. Some teachings, I mused, needed utter powerless to full grasp. They were set to turn stellar learners. 7 hours post Mary's ring, I boarded Eve flight from Los Angeles to Malibu. But wait, story has Malibu as dest, but flight from LA to Malibu is short. Perhaps adjust to coast spot, but keep as is per adapt. As Boeing lifted into California dusk, I eased into premium seat they deemed me too aged for. As we rose, I scanned device screen. 50 missed rings, 19 messages, rising. Each alert marked their despair tick. Another split in claim pride they'd held 6 years. I scrolled log methodical. Emily, Michael, Susan, Robert. Emily anew. Michael anew. Seeing panic grow in timestamps. First message 20 minutes. Post Mary's ring bore Emily's order tone. Dad. What prank this? Not amusing. Ring back now by 12th. Rage in Michael's voice. This mad, John. Can't sell our home sans tell. Lawyer's coming. Message 17 showed Susan's sobs. Please, John, don't get what's on. Where you need chat. End message pre-lift caught Emily's full yield. Dad, please pick. Will anything. Just ring. No place go. No place go. Exact words they'd set for my retirement talk. As we climbed cruise, I eyed California lights shrink below. Somewhere in that glow, my clan huddled hotel. Frantic dialing number staying silent till I ruled they'd learned fit meek to merit note. Attendant came with wine serve, marking special tonight. Mr. Miller. Freedom Day. I said, taking glass? About 40 years late. 10 hours ahead. 10 hours Pacific between me and their frantic bids to reclaim sway. 10 hours to taste full flip of control that ruled since Anna's end. I opened portable and drafted mail unsent, note spelling all their wrongs, each casual harsh tick, each age belittle quip. Right felt healing, release, like grading most key lesson ever taught, but they merited no spells yet. Spells post-fallout, post-grasp, post-true sorry swapped claim wrath. My device buzzed ring 51. Emily anew. I watched her name light screen, then dim as went message. Despair loop would go through my flight as I savored meal they'd thought me too aged for. Below, Pacific spread endless. Dark waves mirroring stars like tossed gems. We crossed zones, leaving their mess with each mile. By Honolulu reach. They'd wake to second roofless day, second grasp of family dump mean. I wiped unsent mail and shut portable. Some teaching skipped words. Needed full fallout dip. My clan learned that sour course now. Grasping need of one, no longer needing them. The math man in me valued sleek balance. 6 years drain offset by days till true sorry. 6 years, Grant assumed. Paid with days, Grant nothing assumed ever. As plain bore me to coastal dawn, I got what Anna meant on fun track. It had gone to priciest yet prized schooling my clan ever got. Cost of grasp some drags, when spurred right, could carry far more load than dreamed. My device showed 53 missed rings when I finally flipped it down and dozed 30,000 feet over their fallout world. Heading to bliss they'd thought me too aged to cherish. If you enjoyed this heartfelt story of justice and family lessons, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments below. What did you think of John's clever revenge? Did it surprise you, or would you have done the same? Drop your thoughts, and let's discuss more. Feel free to ask questions for deeper insights, and interact with the community here. Your engagement keeps the stories coming. For the next captivating tale, simply click the box on the left. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.